Okay, welcome to ANZCRL final round, the Bathurst 500. This is the final session. I'm your host, Neil Haynes, tonight, and we have got the guys just doing their formation lap to resume this 40 lap session. So, obviously, 41 laps there on the board, but it's going to be the 40 racing laps as they're doing their formation now. I've got Sato as host, but I'm just going to stay in this lobby at this stage while I direct the guys that need to fall a lap down. And then we'll be back into the broadcast booth with the fabulous Sato alongside me to call this final session.
Enjoy these last 40 laps of the series, gents.
Yeah, mate, it's been massive.
Great fun. It's been a long, what,
Yeah.
10, 11 weeks, whatever it was? Crazy amount of time.
Probably more like 14, 6, 15 with weeks off.
Yeah.
True.
Looking forward to the IndyCar. How many times have I said that so far?
Okay, no more weaving, guys. Well done. Best of luck, guys. So just remember, both Stubbs and Brock, just to peel into the pits, please.
3 laps, yeah?
2 laps for Stubbs and 3 laps for yourself.
Cool.
I will call you and let you know when you can leave. Best of luck, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, so they're just lining up now. Let's see how they go. We've got Whopper, who led the first session and only just took the lead from Highlander. So Dado's now in the car. They've swapped their drivers between that safety car, and Whopper is off on a flyer on a great start. But look at behind. Cirrus is having a little look at No Frills, who's jumped in for Termo, who did a tremendous job in 4th position from driving with the wets right through the session of the opening session. And as we know, if you've watched that stream from Dado Racer on AMS Oz, they definitely weren't the options to be on wet with the slick track. So it wasn't wet enough. And the drivers that chose to be on the slicks did an amazing job and got through those first 20 laps on slicks. And then they decided to go on a wets. But this man here, Whopper, did not. He stayed on slicks for another 20 laps. As the track got wetter and wetter, he was the only man to brave those conditions on the slicks. And they've come to a damp track for session 2 with a 70% chance of the light showers remaining from Just Race. What a fabulous sight Just Race is for us admin people for league racing. But it's chosen the heavy cloud, as you can see. So the conditions are great for racing here for the final stint. So we are just still going through the motions here. I better just let my fellow commentator know that everything is okay. Okay, so looks like for basically this is lap 41 because they did 40 laps last night, the fellas, and it looks like Whopper is going to hold this lead into lap 41 of 80. But we'll keep on top of this one here. Obviously, it's lap 2 of 41. So here we go. So we should have Stubbs in the pit lane waiting to go next time around. Okay, Stubbs, you just stay there for one more lap. I'll let you know when you can go. Okay, so...
I had a notification for insufficient progress.
Yeah, just move just a little bit. That's fine if that comes up. Just keep moving until it goes away. Okay, so the boys are on top of it. If it doesn't go away, just move a little bit further if you can.
All good.
Oh, look at this battle here between Night Havoc and Cirrus right behind him, doing his best he can to try and get a move on Bo Kane at the same time. So Night Havoc, the championship leader at this stage. Now the scenario is DQ'd.
That was my mistake. I was rolling back.
Apologies about that.
No, it's not your fault. It was my fault.
So,
I'm out.
sorry about that. Lockie, just be mindful, mate, that your tyres aren't going to be the best either, so just be careful on your outlap. So this
Yeah,
is...
I'm watching them drop now.
So here they go, down Conrod for the second time, and it looks like it's also on for between Dado Racer and Whopper at the same time. And Darky was has been overtaken by No Frills. So No Frills is now up to third position in Osneki Racing number 3 as we ride on board Dado Racer. Dark Racing, sorry. Okay, Stubbs, you get ready to go, mate. The cars are just coming through. Now you're free to leave pit lane. Okay, I'll move myself back into now the race commentary so we can have Sato join us in commentary. Okay, it's a very nice warm welcome to Sato. Welcome, Sato. Thanks for holding the reins while we've got everyone back on track other than Brock Buster. Unfortunately got DQ'd because he was rolling backwards in pit lane.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yes, it is. So we're down to 9 cars. So Stubbs is going to be, unfortunately, the car that will be 2 laps down at this stage. And the challenge from Brock Buster trying to get onto the back of him and maybe... he would have left, I think, to be honest, to be on the same lap as Lockie. Yeah, we won't see that challenge there. But there's a lot going on right now, Sato, as we're looking at Detective just holding off at the moment, Bo Kane.
Yeah, Detective on struggle street at the moment, so he's must be fighting tyre pressures, and while withstanding the pressure from behind. Bo Kane, Night Havoc are both looking to have a lot of early speed.
Yeah, they sure do. And No Frills made a move on Darky as well, up into third position.
Oh, here he goes. Is he looking? No.
And this is a famous spot where he yourself made the historical move to take the victory 2 years ago here at Bathurst on, I believe it was Gun 180. And that was probably one of the best Bathurst finishes we've ever seen in the history here at ANZCRL.
Yeah, shaping. That was a 7-lap setup. That one, trying to work out how I was going to get past, but I identified that as the spot, and it made it work.
It paid off, and it was also that Slate safety car as well that also helped out a big time as well. But here we are on board Night Havoc. Now, this man here, as I was trying to allude to earlier, he needs to finish at least 4th position. Actually, third position if Dado wins the race. So if he finishes off the podium and Dado ends up winning the race, the championship will be Dado's to take. So the man that's been leading the championship most of the way has swapped between himself and Dado. But majority of the time we've seen Night Havoc here in the number 4 Osneki racing up front. So the pressure's on him at the moment down in 7th position with Dado in 2nd here, Sato. So though he doesn't want to do anything silly to actually upset his race early on here.
Yeah, he's dropped about 6 seconds off of Dado, so he will have a sense of urgency to get past his
car in the wall. I think Whopper. What was Whopper? So that's now given the lead to the man, Dado Racer. He's been gifted. Wonder if that was actually a move or if it was done on his own, but unfortunately we don't have replays to see that.
Yep, so Dado in the lead, and No Frills is hounding him aggressively.
Yeah, No Frills has found some pace in the Osnecki number 3 Super V8 car that I just could not get throughout the season. He's doing a tremendous job now. So Dado will not be very comfortable here. But will Dado sort of think, is it safer maybe not to get too much in a battle of a wildcard driver that hasn't done any series running with ANZCRL here in the V8 supercars? What would you do, Sato, in this position? Just heads forward and don't worry about it?
Well, it's tricky because with the gap being 45 points, yeah, he could cede the lead to No Frills, but then if Night Havoc is able to get himself up to 5th and 4th, then all of a sudden that's the championship over. So in my mind, you'd have to fight tooth and nail to try and hold on to the lead.
Yeah, good point. I think you are correct there. And at the end of the day, No Frills is a very experienced driver, sim racer. So there shouldn't be anything. I don't want to put the commentator's curse or the mockery on him, but you know, I have raced with No Frills a lot over at GTL, and he's a tremendous driver. But I believe I first drove with No Frills back on the V8 Supercars on another league that was run on a Saturday, and yeah, a few years back.
Yeah, so this is my first experience of seeing No Frills, but at the moment he's looking pretty damn strong.
Yeah, I'd say that for sure. He's really an open. He likes his open wheelers too, No Frills. But I tell you what, he's really accustomed and comfortable here in this Super V8. And I bet you a lot of these drivers that have come in just to help out, I bet you they're happy to see this dry weather after witnessing some of their co-drivers battling in the wet last night.
Yeah, and those conditions were quite tricky because it was very hard to distinguish what the track state was going to be. So a few gambled on slicks, others played the safe game on the wets, and it was the slicks guys that paid out, and that's why these two in front are in the positions they are in.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we all want
change for position.
Also, Bocane's got Detective. And Detective's a man that can win also. I brought up the graphics at the start without any commentary, but Detective can actually also bring to win the Final 6 championship. So he's in the same boat as Highlander for the Final 6 championship. He needs to actually win the race and have Night Havoc not finish on the podium. So the pressure is also on Detective and Dado Racer. Well, Dado Racer is scoring points for Highlander. So at the end of the day, if Dado wins, Highlander is on a good point scoring mission to get the 300 points as well. So they've stacked their team up just like we did for Osnecki Racing with myself and Night Havoc. But again, I fell foul of choosing those wrong tyres last night, Sato, just like you on those wet tyres.
Yes. Yeah, and it was a tricky decision. But in my mind, the reason why I stuck to wets is my pep talk with Sirius was to hold it no more than one lap down, so the wet tyre was going to be the safest way to do that.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking, but then when we got lapped on lap 16 of 40, I'm thinking, well, if it stays like this and we should be on slicks, Highlander's going to come back around and lap us again, and we'll be 2 laps down, so I actually chose the option to go on slicks just to cover, and I thought, well, I'll see what happens here, and was able to get a bit of lap time out of it on the slicks, but then when it got too wet, I got onto the back of you from memory and just over the top of the mountain, and all of a sudden the rear just wanted to step out on me, which it hadn't done previously, and you just started pulling away, and then I knew that it's too wet now.
Yeah, I was looking at Highlander. I was judging my gap to Highlander, whether to swap back onto the slicks or not. So I figured I had enough pit stops advantage to stay in front of Highlander if he kept pulling away too much. And then he came in for wet, so that solved my question of I'll just stick with the strategy I'm on.
Highlander saying he can't win. I'm saying he can win the Final 6 championship if they win the race. Hey?
No, he can't, because his teammate is Dado, who's ahead of him in the points.
In the final 6.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dado's
Mon-
second in the championship. Highlander fourth.
There you go. Yeah, sorry. Mine's gone a little bit haywire there, but well picked up. But the man that stayed on the wets and did really well was also No Frill's teammate, was Termo. And in the number 3 Osnecki that we saw earlier. But looking at Bo Kane now putting pressure on Darky, who did a tremendous job in the wet last night for the opening 40 laps. And we know Darky can play the long game in these races. He's always been a factor near the end of these races, and his car's looking not too bad. 4 seconds off the lead, so look, all these cars are still well and truly in for a shot here.
Yeah, they are, and yeah, the pace difference hasn't actually been significant between all these cars. So these guys are driving at a high level. I think Highlander will be praying to get to the first pit stop to get a fresh set of tyres and maybe a tyre pressure adjustment if he's got that set. At the moment, it looks like Darky's struggling a bit compared to the others.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was. That's one thing that I'd really like to sort of see in the game, to be honest, is the ability to change tyre pressures on the fly. We used to be able to do it in Project Cars 1, or a little look by Bo, starting to let Darky know that he wants to try and make a move sooner than later, because he can see slowly that No Frills may be pulling away just that little bit.
Yeah, Dado looks like he's stretched out that margin to No Frills to a second, so No Frills maybe a little mistake somewhere, or the conditions are starting to come favour Dado's car just that little bit more.
Yeah, let's hope that will happen there. I think we're getting feedback there from actually Highlander, his teammate, that the car just keeps better as the sessions goes on, as the fuel drops as well. So that's a little bit alarming for the rest of the field.
Yes, but this is a nice little battle pack for the last step of the podium at the moment. And I can see Bo Kane, if he can get by Darky, I can even see him start to push towards those leading 2 cars.
And that's what I'm thinking as well. This could be a Revenant Racing really, they might need that and try and be a backup for Dado. And another thing as well, as long as with Bo Kane in front of also Night Havoc, this is also playing right in the hands of Dado Racer for the championship.
Yeah, Dado first and Night Havoc back in 6th. At the moment, it's championship Dado.
It sure is, and I was just going to say, geez, Darky threw it over the top of the hill as he came into Forest Elbow there. I thought he was almost airborne.
I taught him well.
I taught him well, and Cirrus is not quite featuring at this stage. Hopefully he's just warming in. We have seen Commander Cirrus being the man that pretty much puts the fastest laps down on each of the rounds here of the V8 cars, the Supercars Showcase, but tonight, just not quite there at this stage. So maybe just the full tanks, he's just not comfortable yet.
Yeah. Hopefully, when the fuel burns down just a little bit more, and the back half of the race will be where he can come into his own.
Yeah, let's hope that can happen for him. And we know that the temperature's going to get a little bit warmer. It's not that overly hot because it is actually the date set in May, not in October. So normally in the game in October, we have a lot warmer weather than when in real life we know it's usually fairly cold still in Bathurst in October, but they treat it as summer, and usually it gets fairly hot.
We've had a few hot Bathursts in October, but yeah, the weather can vary wildly. Oh, detective!
Was
You're trying to
thinking
drive down the inside of the cutting. That would be a bold overtake.
that'll be another Marcus Ambrose and Greg Murphy moment.
Oh yeah, get the fisticuffs out.
We can move straight to UFC, EA Sports UFC or something after this, Sato.
Yes. on main event.
Main event, yes. Get everything here at ANZCRL. Lloydie's, yeah, good to have Lloydie in. Both myself, Lloydie, and Hamish, who's currently, as we know, who's Night Havoc, sorry, in 6th position. We carried out the 12 hours of Coda yesterday at for OOR's ACC game, and things didn't quite turn out well for us, for the team ANZCRL. We copped a few penalties for a bit of contact early on, and then in my session I made a bit of a contact as well, so it put us down, and we ended up finishing second last. But look, we learnt the Lamborghini, and I'll tell you what, I think Night Havoc would be a bit of a tired boy out there at the moment.
Yes. Just thinking with Bo Kane, he just always seems down the end of the chase where he's in a position to have a dive down, but Darky must be right on the edge of his braking limit to try and deter Bo from making that lunge.
Yeah, exactly, and you sort of know too, don't you, Sato? Like, you got to be really committed if you're going to do it. It's, oh, look at this, Night Havoc's made a little mistake, or Cirrus has made a move, but Cirrus was a bit off the pace there, but...
Yeah, but seriously, I was looking at the times, he made massive gains on Night Havoc coming down through the S's through the dipper.
Yeah, okay. And
Close up to 0.2 at the start of the straight. So obviously he was able to get enough of an overlap to make the pass stick down through the chase.
yeah, and the thing that it's obviously the AMS2 hasn't really fixed up too much since the last update, as you know. Both the delta, like the what do you call it, the totem pole of the order. We used to be able to see the previous lap time, so you can't see that. They're both replicated of the gap between the leader now, so we can't see which cars are on a charge, which used to help us, obviously, in a broadcast scenario, so you could actually start seeing a car punching in those laps so you know that they're on a move, but unfortunately, we can't really do that anymore.
No, but what we could probably do, if we can bring up the timing screen, we can see the last lap times, where it's pretty stable in terms of the gaps, really. Night Havoc with a 2:08.2, so he actually must have made a mistake down at the chase and ran off the road.
Yeah, something happened
To
there.
lose a couple of seconds. Which further plays into Dado's hands.
Yeah, still a long way to go as well. So as we know, lap traffic will be a telling factor as well. So we'll see how that all factors in. But at this stage, these top 8 cars, I don't think any of these cars will get lapped unless they have some big incident and then need repairs and things like that. But the way that they're going now, and we saw on that when you brought up their best laps in their previous laps, they're all doing basically 205s, 206s, I think it was. So
Yeah.
only 205s, I think it was. Sorry.
Yeah, so only 2 guys that were in 205s was Dado and No Frills, but I think No Frills has dropped a bit more on the last lap and dropped into the 206, 207s.
Actually, he has.
Darky and Bo are starting to reel him in.
Yeah, well, they've actually gained a second now. Like I said, they're only within 2 seconds now from No Frills. So again, this could also be the tyres starting to overheat a little bit, or as we've seen too, the lockups really punish the front right on these cars. So the unloaded part of the tyre is really getting a hammering on any lockup. So
and I can tell Darky's pushing so hard, because on the previous lap on screen, saw Darky rubbed that wall at Reed Park.
Yeah, the rubbing of the wall doesn't really affect these cars, but doing it too much could, we've seen it where a couple of rubs on the rear wing can actually then dislodge the rear wing, and I think it happened to Darky as well yesterday.
Darky and
early in the race,
both the purple cars both lost their rear wings at some stage during that session.
Maybe they need stronger bolts, Sado. Mounting bolts. Oh, here we go.
We haven't seen this movie before.
Haha. Yeah, great move there by Bo Kane. He's been able to just pull it up there. But look at Darky on the attack again, but just can't get around. If he could have got his nose, just that rear kernel. But look who's having a look now.
Oh.
Darky was caught napping.
the
Oh,
pit!
no!
You're off!
Detective. Oh, it's not the first time Detective's had a little rub there. Just this, maybe not knowing that was... well, he should know that Darky's there with a radar, but maybe he doesn't run the radar, Sato. If you don't run the radar, maybe he just didn't quite know that he was still quite there. He sort of moved over on him, didn't he?
Or the spatial awareness just wasn't there. And
Oh, so
yeah,
Darky's...
thought there was more room on the right.
Yeah. Oh, well, Darky's just going to have to get going now. So we've got the two Fizz flavoured cars now in 7th and 8th. They were really up there at the front at the start. Obviously, Whopper's made a mistake. He's struggling to try and catch up to the back of the pack again. So hopefully the tyres haven't been worn out too much with that slide by Darky, so he can get back going again and get onto the back of Night Havoc.
Yes. But it'll take probably a couple of laps to get him under control before he can go again.
Oh, yeah, they'll be a bit warm. So, yeah, just get it going again. Oh, geez, Detective is really pushing this extreme racer to try and get onto the latch on the back of Bo Kane.
Yeah, that little squabble there, it's cost all these guys a second on Dado.
Yeah, it looks like now that Night Havoc is actually putting a little bit of pressure back on Commander Cirrus, but Cirrus got a good exit out of Forest Elbow once again. So he's very strong there, Sato. Your car looks like it's pretty strong on the exit of Forest Elbow, which is good to come down Conrod, the longest straight.
Cirrus and I were using complete different setups. We were, so not quite. I haven't driven what Cirrus has been running, so I'm not actually sure what the strengths and weaknesses of Cirrus is going to be.
Yeah. Let's just maybe pick up and see how Lachlan's going at the back. Just see how his car's looking. It's looking fairly straight.
Oh, it looks clean.
And I'll tell you what, he was one driver that was really happy with the conditions last night for the first part, and then just fell foul a little bit. I think, oh, just getting the rear, just stepping out just that little bit on the turn in. But yeah, he was going very strong. I think got as high as 5th position before. I think he had a mistake and maybe a few uncalled pit stops.
Yeah,
unscheduled.
Mistakes are so easy to make in this car.
He brushes the War Forest Elbow. They're doing his best Dick Johnson impersonation.
Yeah, just seeing the limits of the car, obviously being a couple laps down, you pretty much just use this as a test session just to learn the game, learn the cars, see what limits you can push. And just have a bit of fun, see how fast you can go.
Definitely. It's just a shame Brockbuster was rolling back and got DQ'd in pit lane, so... So it's a learning curve for all us admin too. We just got to make our instructions a little bit clearer. They did get a notification that they weren't moving, so they'd be disqualified for the non-movement. So I had them moving forward, but I think maybe Brock moved forward and then didn't hit his foot on the brake and started rolling back a bit too much.
So rolling backwards in the pit lane is a no-no.
So it seems we've
Add a
got
little bit this little bit.
yeah, I was going to say Bo Kane has just sort of not been able to get back onto no frills now, and it looks like Detective is making inroads slowly. So I reckon Detective's just lapping that little bit faster each lap here at the moment. The pit window's around about lap 20 for these guys, so maybe 20. Well, they could probably inch it out to 21, 22 because of the formation lap that they had.
Yeah, but I reckon there'd be half a chance at maybe getting a bit of an undercut by pitting a lap or two early. I think the earliest you could probably make it to the end might be the end of lap 18 or 19, depending on what your fuel burn is.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't actually have to fill the tank right up if you pit a bit later, obviously, but save you a few seconds. But then, as you said, if you pit that little bit earlier as well, you might get that benefit of the fresher tyres for a little bit. But they do come out cold, so it does take a while for them to sort of get back up to operating temperatures. So you do lose out a little bit there. But here we are with the leader, Dado Racer and Highlander, as we ride on board the Revenant Racing car.
I noticed in practice that Dado was running much taller gears than what I was running last night. So I found a gearing solution a little bit different to me that seems to be working.
Yeah, I think so. Like, Dado's worked a lot with gearing throughout the season, actually. He does always mention, they do have a big part, and whenever I mention to him, if we're in a practice server, what gearing do you run, Dado? He's always a little bit coy to, to let on. But nothing aggressive with the gear changes, Dado. He's just, as his teammate has commented, he's just very smooth, Dado, when he's driving. No lockups. Nice with the throttle application, which you need to do with these V8s. A lot of power coming on into a narrow tyre.
Yeah, and just not even needing a correction in the middle of the corner, just turning it once and holding the steering position, just flowing it through.
Oh, riding it up on that curb. You don't want to go too much further. It can make the car get a little bit unstable, especially with these later in this stint as well. So we're probably predicting another 4 or 5 laps before we might see some pit activity. It'll be interesting to see if everyone follows maybe what the leader's doing here.
Yeah, potentially. That is pretty threat from any sort of challenge pit stop wise. The gap's big enough to avoid the undercut.
So maybe we could look at a little bit later. Cirrus is in the middle of a battle trying to chase down Detective, and then obviously got the hounding of Night Havoc that knows that he needs to start moving. He needs to get on the podium here to keep hold of this championship. Or you'll be praying that No Frills or someone can bother Dado a little bit later in this race, but he's really got to start thinking he's got to do something himself. He can't rely on the others out there on the track to sort of help him out here.
Yeah, and we don't seem to be at risk of any safety cars at the moment, so like we had at the start of last night's race.
Yeah,
He's got to
GP,
do it on his own.
Rally GP, I think it was, ended up on his roof at the at Griffin's Bend on lap 2.
Yeah.
Highlander says he's hated the safety car. Yeah, well, I tell you what, I enjoyed. I rejoiced when I saw that safety car, because I was almost contemplating to come in and get back onto the slicks, but I was with you, Sado. I thought I'm going to stay out here on these wets because surely it's going to get wetter and wetter. And I was predicting around about lap 10 that was going to get a little bit how you going. So I was thinking that as long as I can stay within that minute, 40 odd seconds or so of the leaders, we've got a chance when they come in for those wets for an unscheduled, but it never happened for us.
Yeah, no, I even pitted under that safety car conditions, but I put a new set of wets on to get some wets that were a bit lower in temperature.
Yeah,
Hoping
right.
That might have brought me through to when it got a bit wet, but it never came. If I had my time again, I would have used that pit stop, get onto the slick tyre, and then
Yeah,
who knows what might have happened.
exactly. We just don't know, do we? And that's the beautiful thing about the sim racing and that unpredictability of that weather. We knew it was going to be light rain right through, but geez, it just took forever to actually get that track to a wet state. And even at the end of the race, the bottom of the track was not even, like the chase and the final corner was still very optimum for the slick tyres, yeah.
I wonder if that might be contributed to the fact that a lot of us were running the wet tyres, so we were just clearing
Mopping.
the track for the slick guys.
That's a good
so they could
point.
stay on the slicks for longer.
Yeah, and we've got Lloydie asking, where does Hamish need it? Well, where does actually Night Havoc need to finish? Well, at this rate, with Dado leading the race, he needs to finish on the podium in 3rd position. If he finishes in 4th, Dado would have done enough by 2 points to take the championship. So that's how close it is. So he's... I have to get some points tables up again. So while there's a bit of a lull here, I might just bring up the points on the screen so we can just have a little look at what's going on here. So the Enduro Cup standings, Dado's leading that already with 48 points. So he's got that sort of sorted at this stage. One man that could probably benefit is Highlander, maybe moving up to 3rd position, taking it away from Dark, who's in 3rd position. Night Havoc will probably be safe at this stage in 2nd. But then we've got the final 6 standings, which is a close one. 54 points for Dado Racer. So there's 60 points for 4th position. I mean, 240, there's a 60-point difference between 1st and 4th. So that's why Highlander Night Havoc would need to finish 3rd to hold on to that. And then we will have also the overall, which is a little bit better for Night Havoc, 45 points, but it still comes down to the same scenario that he'll need to still finish 3rd to keep hold of that championship from Dado Racer. Of course, there's only a 42-point difference, so it'll be a 3-point margin from Dado from losing to not win that championship. We won't go into the team's championship, but it looks like Revenant Racing will have that wrapped up by the way things are going. So let's get back to the footage as we're still on Detective here, who's in 4th position. So it's still going to be close. There's still a long way to go. We're not even at halfway yet, and we know Night Havoc does come on strong as well in the later parts of the race as well. He's always had the luxury of always being near front, but he has had some drives where he's had to come back through the midfield as well and end up being on the podium. So that's all he needs to do. He just has to come 3rd. So there's still a good chance. And what is he, Sato? I think he's, 5 seconds roughly off Bo Kane.
Yeah, that's about that. Four and a bit seconds actually. So he's under 5 to Bo Kane, so not out of the realms of possibility.
No, and you know, there's some drivers muck up their pit strategies. Something happens, they haven't, you know, they haven't set it up properly. So there's a whole lot of stuff that can go on.
Especially guys that is where the car's coming into its own at the end of the run. I think Sirius has actually shown a lot of speed. He's clawing back time on the lead at Dado, and he's right on the back of Detective now.
Yeah, he sure is. Well done, and he is. He's on a mission, isn't he? So while we're looking at the points for a minute or so, Sirius has been making big inroads here on Detective. He's gapped Night Havoc, who was sort of behind him. I wouldn't be surprised he's actually pumping out of one of the fastest laps shortly too. Get a good toe down the straight. Ooh,
oh no, he's hit the wall.
That was lucky. We've seen cars in real life do that and they get speared off to the right hand, straight into the wall on the right hand side of the track, but he was able to hold on to it, Sirius.
Yeah, cost him a bit of time there, obviously, because he was gearing up to have a launch pad down that straight to pass Detective.
So they just get...
It's Bo Kane.
So Bo Kane has had some problem. I don't know if it's with the blue flags, with Stubbsy maybe.
Yeah,
but
that's Stubbs there. I think that Yes, I think Stubbs might have held up no frills a little bit, but the gap to Dado's not different. I think Bocane has actually just been had a pretty quick lap. Let's bring up the times to see what he's done. 205.8s across the board.
Now that's some
Jeez,
hot
they're
pace.
pretty close.
Look at Night Havoc and Darky. They did the last lap 205s as well.
Yeah.
So that little hit on that wall cost Cirrus. He would have been doing a 205 as well. So that wall glance that he had into Forest Elbow.
Well, it might have been close to a 4.
So these guys will take the race lap record because the lap record, well, not saying the lap record, I should say the fastest lap of the race they should, because obviously Highlander we had to do it in the slick conditions and did a 209.451 last night, which was pretty impressive. The only driver in the 209s in the wet. So yeah, great time by Highlander.
I've snoozed. And Cirrus has got past Detective, and Highlander's now Night Havoc is now having a look in.
I don't know what it is with Night Havoc, but I always seem to get muddled up. And whenever I hear him online too, not hear him, I always say, "Hey, go on, Highlander." And it's like, it's Night Havoc. I've always got Highlander on my mind. I don't know why. Sounds a bit scary there.
There you go.
Oh, there's a nice move here. He's going to be on the outside. He's got to clear him before he has. Is that a little bit of side draft in there, Sato?
It's a little bit, but most of it is just the slingshot, getting that better exit out of the elbow, and maybe Detective's running a bit more camber on the rear of the car, which affects straight line speed as well. And Detective into the pits now. That was a late decision there.
What's he
doing?
Oh, he must be on
that
his...
was a late call.
He must be in his in-car management. You know, when you do that, sometimes you're just a minute away from looking at what's happening on the road and it just throws you. And he's following in... Who's that? No Frills coming in.
No Frills.
So No Frills is coming from second. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Camo in now. Welcome, Camo. I believe you could be one of Bose. I think I was introduced to you the other night while we were practicing. So it looks like I think Camo might be coming into the Indy cars, Sato. I think he's Bo Kane's mate, if I've got that correct. And I know Bo Kane's was saying that he's got a mate that they're going to both come into the IndyCar series when we start that in next month, I believe in June.
Yes.
So here we go, lap 21.
Lane became very busy.
Yeah, it has. So Stubbs has come in as well.
Oh, hello. What's happened here?
Well, they're all pitted, but there's a big...
No, Cirrus hasn't. Cirrus has had a moment.
Well, so's Night Havoc as well. He hasn't pitted, so I don't know if that was maybe when they all come... Or well, they would have been in front
damage on the
of
front of Cirrus?
I think you're right. Yeah, the front left.
Yeah, he's hit the wall.
But the
At the
good
start of
thing...
the lap, it was only 8 seconds off. He's now lost 10 seconds in a moment. He's hit the wall.
Yeah, and you can just see the bonnet is raised just a little bit. Obviously, we might have a little bit clearer screens than what might be on the broadcast skies just because of the resolution, but you can see the left-hand side of his bonnet just raised up just that little bit. There's a gap there, so he's definitely, as Sato said, hit the wall somewhere.
Dato's staying out. Bocane's staying out.
So going long is Night Havoc's going to, I think he'll follow the leader now. He'll be wanting to try and put in as many laps as he can with his hotter tyre and hope the cars and gain some positions on the cars that have just pitted and trundling around on cold tyres, trying to warm them up. But he'll be in the same boat when he comes out of pit lane, but then at least he'll have track position. It'll be about track position.
Cirrus hasn't pitted, which is interesting.
Darky's in. So, yeah, we've got the top 4 yet to pit. Everyone else has pitted for tyres. Stubbsy pitted as well. So we'll keep an eye on Dado now just to see if I'd say that he I don't know if he's going to be able to squeeze out another lap. Now, Dado was saying if you ride actually in cockpit camera, the fuel numbers were working for him. So sometimes it's a very random thing if it does or if it doesn't, but
Yeah, it's not.
he's got
It's not
zero
working for
fuel.
me.
No.
0-0.
So 0 fuel showing on his dash. So either he's got a magic extra fuel tank that we don't know about to keep going, or obviously that graphic is wrong, and I believe the graphic is wrong. Hey, Wildcats, yeah, they are. They've been a tremendous team, leading the team's championship, Revenant Racing, and with Dado Racer and Highlander.
And they're
here.
first and second on the road at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I think, no, Bo Kane, yeah, that's right, because Zach 18 did a tremendous job, didn't he, in the wet too? He was one that stayed on the slicks for right up to he's pitted for, I think, wets, but had a little incident and fell out of, I think he was actually third, and he had a little incident near the end of the race and dropped down. He had to have pit and finish sixth, I think it was.
Yeah, it's Dado in and Bocane in, so they must be out of fuel.
Yeah, and looks like hopefully they get their pit limiters on, and look at who's going one extra lap. So do you know what? Night Havoc always says when we team up and we do races on ACC, he likes to risk it for the biscuit. So could we be seeing that right now?
Yeah, bold move. He's hoping that the cold tyres will lose, that the cars behind will lose a bit of time. Sirius in as well.
Well, I
Keep an eye on no frills.
I can guarantee that they will lose time on their outlap, but the thing is, they'll be strong when if he does come out in front of him, they'll have a lot more pressure and grip to be able to try and make a move. But if Night Havoc can try and block, like hold them off, you know, it'll benefit him in the end.
Dado leading the pits. And Bocane has jumped no frills, so the overcut seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, just staying out on those warmer tyres definitely does help. But the thing is, you keep an eye on it, and you'll find that no frills will be all over the back of Bocane over the top of the mountain, and it'll be up to Bocane to you know,
Look at that.
drive sensibly.
Sirius was able to, he had that moment where he lost about 10 seconds and yet was able to pit and still come out ahead of Detective.
List Detectives had a little bit of moment on those cold tyres on the outlap as well. What a race this is shaping up to be. Hope to become here at the end of this race. Just please stick around. Hope you're enjoying it. And we've got just under 20 laps remaining, so around about 18 laps. And it hasn't coughed yet. Here he comes. So let's see how hard he can attack this pit lane. We saw Detective actually just totally miss that first. Bouncing over the curbs.
They had a bit of liberties with the track limits there.
Yeah, and just pulled it up a little bit short of the pit lane, so that did cost him that little bit. So the coming in fast maybe negated the time that he sort of pulled up a little bit short of the pit entry. So we know that Dado will clear him, but the question will be is if Night Havoc can get in front of Cirrus, that'll be the telling factor here.
Well, look, No Frills has got the move. He's got past Bocane using those hotter tyres.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. You know, we've always said that it takes at least two laps roughly to get your tyres really up. But if you can actually defend that time, you will benefit. But look at this. Where's Cirrus? So he's probably going to get out. Well, I think Cirrus made that mistake we saw. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Here we go.
Nail, and they're going to hit. They're going to hit.
So elbows are out here in the final round. So they've got to play nice here. Cirrus can't be moving too much more over that centre line. Going to try and get the under and over. Here he goes, getting a good exit. So what's Detective going to do? He's got the run by the look of it. A little bit of a gap here, but I'd say Cirrus will be right on him at the braking zone.
Detective is pulling away.
Yeah. A nice job by Detective.
This comes very interesting now because Night Havoc's been able to jump himself up into 4th place now.
Now, just have a look at this, though. Night Havoc in 4th. No Frills, his teammate in 2nd position. Will we see a possible swap of positions? No Frills drop out of the top 3 to give Night Havoc his 3rd position. Now, it was not discussed. I can honestly say that I didn't discuss it in our chat, and I don't think anything was discussed about this at this stage. We're all busy recovering from our own things, but if we had team radios, I think that's what would happen, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, and if there were 2 championship drivers that had been in those cars for the whole year, if they were both in those cars, you could maybe entertain the idea of doing that. But because No Frills and Turmo, they're just wild carding. They haven't raced.
Yeah,
this
and they haven't
season
been
until
exactly.
point.
And they probably don't actually know too much about. We're easy sitting back here in the beautiful commentary booth, looked up the points, looked at the gap. We can work it all out. But these guys are racing now, and all they concentrate is getting the best result for themselves. But look, No Frills is not out of the question of beating, like, to take the win. And if he takes the win, Night Havoc will still retain the championship lead. So look, it's not over.
Yeah.
No Frills goes for the win, and Night Havoc will still be happy where he is.
Yeah, exactly right. And even potentially Bocane, because Bocane at the end of his run was pretty quick as well. So if Bocane can get up there and challenge as well, and all of a sudden maybe even though Bocane's driving the same team car as Dado, again, like, this is their first races for the season, so
Yeah,
and
sure.
this is Bathurst. They're not going to leave anything unturned because this is Bathurst.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be, we've got such a rich history here at ANZCRL running Bathurst 1000s and 500s. And, you want to be part of that on our website of, someone taking out this race. But how about this? This is like real life racing as well, in a way, with the top 2 teams filling out the top 4 positions here at the grand final. So we've got the Revenant Racing and Osneki Racing teams filling out the top 4.
Yeah, and it just proves, because they've been the top cars all season long, and it just shows how much that form just carries you through. Once you find setups that work out and the drivers are operating at such a high level, that it becomes quite contagious, even for these wildcard guys. They jump in, and the regular season guys, they've laid the groundwork, and these guys can come in and just perform and continue on that good work.
Yeah, exactly, Sato. We've got another Revenant Racing supporter, or someone that they're following that they know, Halo Master. Welcome, Halo. Oh, it's Stubbs. He's gone in backwards there at the wall.
Oh.
So he's had a wild slide to be up that far, Sato. That must have been a wild moment. Just got to be careful
Yeah,
here.
so there must have been a bit of a tank slapper coming out of the...
But so far up as well. Remember the year when the V8 supercars came through and it was all wet and all the cars going everywhere down up here, Mountain Straight?
I do remember that.
About 4 years ago, something like that. Highlanders are saying no safety car, but at the end of the day, I don't think a safety car will really matter at this stage, other than maybe Night Havoc getting a little bit closer to you. The pressure's on Dado. Don't worry about that. He'll know that No Frills is getting this within just getting it, touching it under 2 seconds now. So Dado will start be getting sweaty palms here at the moment. Thanks, Dado.
Yeah. You're good. Yeah, and the gap's holding station about 2.5. Maybe No Frills just gaining a couple of tenths here or there.
Yeah, it must be over the first part, like the first sector and maybe part of sector 2, because obviously, yeah, once they got halfway over the top, that's where Dado's extended that gap again. So probably going up the hill is where No Frills is stronger, and then as they start going down the mountain, Dado's got the confidence in the car. It's sometimes easier
Yes.
going up the hill because you've got your throttle, application. Going down, it's all about your finesse. You talked about it earlier how, Dado's obviously, got nice smooth steering inputs, not, overcorrecting all the time. So going down the mountain, it's a lot of just momentum, isn't it?
Yeah, yes and no. I would say going up the mountain is more momentum. Going down, it's all about risk versus reward. You can be, especially like through the S's, it's all about how deep you want to go, how much engine braking you're going to use to get the car slowed down, and then you got to keep it tight against the walls, and
Yeah, we might just want to have a quick look at Dado Racer, and at the same time, once we do, we're just going to see if we can have a look to see who's got the current fastest lap. Highlander's saying Cirrus. I don't know if that's him just guessing it might be Cirrus, but we might try and have a look to see the best lap time at the moment. There's a couple of 2:04s there.
so Frill's quicker than Bocane 0, 4.9 for Night Havoc, 4.7 for Detective, 4.5 for Cirrus.
So there you go. Cirrus has got that fastest lap, but the previous lap there, look at the top, those top three. Oh, Night Havoc did a 2:04.9, just shy of his fastest lap time as well, that last lap. So Night Havoc's on a charge as well. So the Osnecki car's coming on strong.
Yeah, Cirrus has had another moment because he's dropped back. Oh, he's dropped a bit further behind the Detective at the moment.
So again, No Frill's got it to about 1.5 as they're coming up the mountain, and then Dado's been able to extend it again. But this time around, they're a little bit closer. So No Frills is just that little bit faster at this stage, and it looks like Detective has got Cirrus. So that might have been. Did we see that? Might have been from the warm
We did.
tyres as well, because Cirrus was in front of him.
Yeah, I think that spot's been going back and forth a little bit. But the person who's catching them both is Darky.
Yeah, he was unlucky to have that incident with Detective coming down here into this final corner. It was just a little bit of lack of awareness there. But look, we won't judge anything here at this stage. You just, things can happen in the sim world as well. But
Yeah,
look,
exactly.
Darky's doing a tremendous job on his comeback drive, but Whopper hasn't been able to make any inroads though. So since he made that mistake out of second position, he hasn't really been able to, follow Darky. He was 10 seconds behind him before the pit stops. We've got a little bit of battle going in the chat here between obviously who wants who to win. So we know that Colonel Lloyd wants his fellow teammate from Team ANZCRL from yesterday at OOR's Coda 12 hour to win this championship. That is Night Havoc, who's in fourth. Needs to finish on the podium if the results finish as they are. But look at this here, Cirrus, here he goes. This is what we like to see from Cirrus.
Yeah, you couldn't have really put two drivers in that car that were so similar in the way they drive, like me and Cirrus.
Yeah, exactly. But Highlander's trying to go back-to-back as well, winning the Bathurst 1000 it was 2 years ago with the man here in the commentary booth, Sado 15. So, look, Highlander will be really willing on Dado here to keep this lead. And it's not an easy feat to go back-to-back in Australia's greatest race.
Cirrus lost a bit coming down the mountain there. Must have got a bit close coming into the dip and just wasn't able to maintain the gap to Detective.
Oh, no, where's Starkey going?
Oh my god.
I tell you what, this is the Bridgestone stunt team.
Oh, a massive moment.
And look at Darky. Like, now, is this going to be payback to Detective? Like, is he going to have those extra elbows out? We'll wait and see. This is going to be a very tasty exchange if Darky can get in next to Detective here. Or alongside him. We'll see what happens. I don't think that Darky will give him much room if it came to that.
No, and nor will Detective expect any room. Now that, yeah, obviously if you drive elbows out to other competitors, sometimes you have to expect to return serve.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like what we like here at ANZCRL, I think, Sato, too. We don't encourage, like, reckless driving by no means, you know,
Oh,
but
no,
aggressive driving, yes. And, you know, if you do get rubbed around the wrong way a little bit, you know, as you just said, just be prepared next time it happens. You know, well, you get, you know, you're racing that same driver, you know, you don't have to be Mr. Nice Guy, you know, get those elbows out a little bit because, you know, he did that to you. But do it fairly, don't do it, you know, intentionally. That's one thing
No.
that will get penalised. But, yeah, when we can see tit for tat, we say bring it on, like we're here to race.
and as long as it's not personal,
Exactly.
you just go for it.
You know, no one likes to ruin someone's race. You know, we all put in a little bit of time and effort for our hobby, but at the same time, we don't want to just follow cars. You know, you can do that on the roads every day to work, but you know, coming here, we want a bit of enjoyment.
Oh, I think Darky's having a few issues with his brakes.
Yeah, he sure is. That's the second time in as many laps that he's just cut through onto the grass. Be interesting if he gets a track cut for that, because he's I don't know if he hasn't really gained too much time on Detective, but originally that first one I think he gained some time.
Yeah, maybe. Mind you, like if you throttle on through the grass, like the car will spin and spin you out. So you would have coasted through the grass, whereas if it was on the tarmac, you'd be able to accelerate out, carry more speed at the end of that straight.
To just remind our viewers too, all the drivers are in comms, so a lot of the time it is very, very silent. We ask everyone not to carry on too much, which is usually the way. So it's great to see our community. Oh, geez, Darky. Our community respect one another, basically, and we all encourage each other as well. When something's not going right with people, or people do start getting a bit hot under the collar with something, we're all there just to calm them down and to say, look, just move on. We'll look at it later, and things like that. So, and in saying that, there's a possibility that Night Havoc might make a little sneaky little call to say, hey, No Frills, if you can't win, how about just backing it up a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Dado's been able to stretch. He's been able to stretch that gap out the last couple of laps.
He sure has.
Tell you who is driving angry, and it looks like Sirius is now attacking Darky again.
Yeah, it looks that way, but, you know, driving angry sometimes also. And I think this is what's happened tonight, Havoc, a little bit too. Like, the tyres do generate a bit of heat, and then you do lose that bit of, you know, the traction and the grip. So you got to let them just cool down that little bit. So you can't just keep going, pushing hard every lap in this game, especially these heavy V8s.
Yeah, I think that's what Darky's finding it now. He's pushed so hard to get back in touch with these Sirius and Detective, and now it seems like the tyres now falling away. Oh, there goes Sirius.
Yeah, as we're just talking about everyone pushing, and you said driving angry, and that's what can happen. So Sirius just overstepping the mark there a little bit. But look, this is what happened. Your fabulous victory too. We had a late safety car, and you did the option to pit and get some fresh tyres, which actually pretty much probably gave you the victory because you just had that fresh rubber. You had to get through a few cars and you made it easy work. And you had that fresh rubber once you got to Gunner. He had nothing to try and defend you with. So, look, if a safety car did happen to come out, wonder if Night Havoc or any other one of those drivers might try and put on some slicks to try and see if they can do the same.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit of a risk. It'd be a bit of a risk because if Darky and Sirius, if they were to stay out, then it puts you behind those guys. Like, yes, you're on fresh rubber, but you've also got to make the overtakes. And the difference between when I pitted for guns, when that safety car came out, was I was already going to be pitting because I was off strategy due to an even earlier safety car. So I was already pitting and changing tyres at that stage.
Yeah, so it was...
by the time I came out of the pits, I was only in second place. I only had to pass one car. For these guys to pit, because it's about a 40-second transit time to go through pit lane, change the tyres.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah.
So to come out 7th rather than 2nd, 3rd or 4th makes it all that more tougher to get a result out.
Yeah, and I guess he will be behind people like, Whopper, Cirrus, as we know, are all competitive. Darky's going to be hard. So, yeah, Detective will be a hard person to overtake, so even with fresh tyres. So, just being, I guess, grouped up if a safety car did come in 4th position, all he knows is he has to come 3rd, so he can put all that pressure on Bo Kane to try and make that move done. Bit different than trying to actually win the race, I guess, because he's winning the race. Night Havoc is his 3rd position at this stage.
Yes. Which he still needs to try and find another 5 seconds on Bo Kane.
Yeah, and laps are running out. It's been going pretty quick. We're up to lap 32 or 41, so 9 laps to go. And to try and 5 seconds in 9 laps can be fairly difficult. But as the drivers, as we mentioned about the tyres, the front tyres, if they've been locking up, you start losing that front turning because you start wearing out that front right, it's going to make it hard over the top of the mountain for these drivers. So we just got to, Bo Kane and also No Frills, we'll really need to keep an eye on that. Dado, I think, seems to be going fairly well at this stage, controlling this race.
What I am happy with what No Frills is doing, he's got his headlights on. So he's creating a bit of distraction. If Dado looks in his rear mirror, he's going to be seeing 2 headlights just right there. So it's just keeping that pressure on Dado.
Yeah, Kemo, you've definitely nailed the head of the coffin there, mate, because that's definitely what Bo Kane will do. He'll make it difficult for Detective because also Bo Kane's a rear gunner for Dado, being in the Revenant team. He knows that he needs to hold that 3rd position to let his fellow teammate take this championship as well. So good point there, Camo. And we know that Bo Kane is a very hard driver to pass, and also he's a hard charger when his car is really firing as well.
Still pushing.
Definitely still pushing. And this is just it, maybe that's what he was doing, just trying to look after those tyres a bit and then trying to think, well, now's the old Lewis Hamilton, it's hammer time. But that would have cost him that little slide, that's for sure.
Going down that hill, it sounds like No Frills is getting on the engine quite a bit, trying to get it to slow down. Which is what you need to do. The fastest way down there is just to get high in the engine revs and just engine brake all the way down.
There you go, bud. In Bathurst 1000, Bathurst 500 winners. Listen to the man that's done it many a times here at ANZCRL. And he's just giving you a good tip of how to extract that little bit of extra speed out of a car going down the mountain here in the V8s. Use that those high revs of that engine. This has been a fabulous race. Like at the start, we saw plenty of action, a lot of close racing, and now it's sort of edge of seat for the title contenders here, just to see what happens, because we know how the cars start to deteriorate a little bit at the end of these sessions, mainly the tyres. The car itself, performance-wise, the engine and everything should be fine. But it's mainly just the tyres. But as the fuel drops as well, it sort of helps, but it's a seesawing thing with the fuel and the tyres as the fuel drops.
Yes. Yes, exactly right. And the gaps are still so close that neither of these guys can afford a mistake. So it's high pressure just to keep the lap times up, because you can't afford to drive slow, but you can't afford a mistake.
That's exactly right. Like, they've been racing now for over an hour, I think, for at least over an hour now. You know, and they had the pressure at the start of the race just mentally. So now the physical aspect is starting to come into them as well. The concentration that they've been doing, get those niggles. We're not all young sim racers these days, so those little niggles start to appear: the knee, the back, the hip, the neck. So yeah, those sort of things, got to contend with them as well.
Yes, exactly right. A true test of endurance there. Bo Kane's not going to die wondering here to get this second place.
No, he's not, is he? He wants a 1-2 here for sure.
He's gained on Datto this lap as well, so the tyres just came into a good window on that last lap there, where Bo Kane's now he's put in a very quick lap. I'll grab the times up just to see what it ended up being. A 5-1, whereas Datto 6-7 for Datto on the last lap.
Wow. Please, Riser, change the totem pole. Get the last laps back working again. That's our plea. But Sato's obviously the man of the moment, knowing all the little gadgets here as a race director and keeping us informed of those previous laps. But maybe we want to have a look to see how Bo Kane run on Bo Kane for a while. We've got some support for Bo Kane. We know that we've got plenty of support for Highlander. Let's just see how he's tracking. What a great view this is, right on top of the whole hamburger cam.
Rear tyres look gone on no frills. Oh, that's a mistake from Bo Kane. I remember doing that in the shootout. Not one of the last shootouts we had on Project Cars 2. You just get trapped on that wall, and you get stuck.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling, is it? It's like, come on, get away. You can't. You want to get the power on. Oh, nice line through there.
Yeah, a little bit wide for that right-hander, but was able to carry more speed than... seemed to be able to carry more speed than no frills.
Yeah, he's just gliding it through there. And Night Havoc's now within 7 seconds, but that could have been from Datto's little slower lap that we saw.
Yeah, he certainly caught... yeah, based on that.
Because he was 10 seconds behind, roughly, so...
I have to have a look at the timings again as they cross the line just to see
that's
what's
a good...
happening. 6-4 for Datto.
So
5-5 for No Frills, 5-7 for Bo Kane.
And a 5-4 from Night Havoc. So Night Havoc is the fastest of those four, but laps are running out for him. So the best bet here...
I'm just wondering, has the tyres gone on Datto, or is he just managing the gap?
Well, look at the margin, though. 1.5 seconds now. This is going to be a three-way battle for the lead very shortly. So what is going on with Dado? I don't think he's going conservative unless he is just trying to, manage those tyres and then have a last push to the end. But we've still got 5 laps remaining. So that's 10 minutes of racing here still remaining.
Will be 5 laps to go at the end of this one.
There you go. So, yeah, plenty still to happen here. And once they get up to one another, that could even bring in Night Havoc as well for a 4-way battle, because they will probably start slowing each other down that little bit. We've seen it happen before.
Yeah, Dad's just not able to get that turned in at the S's like he used to be able to. He's just running that car width wide, heading into the dipper, which is compromising his line a little bit. It's allowing, so maybe the front tyre's gone away on that car. He's just not quite getting that turn.
That could be from a few big lockups too, Sato, maybe, and just worn those out a little bit. But also, we were talking about the age factor. We do call Dado the statesman. He's probably the oldest of our sim racing group. And maybe he's just struggling a little bit, but he's really, something's going on here now.
You got defend, yep, that's it, defend. Oh, it's tight.
Oh, there's been
hold around the outside, no frills, there's no room there.
Here goes Dado's teammate. Oh, look at this. This is wild. This is exactly what Dado needs. He needs this now, because this is now going to back up. He can now protect Dado for the lead, Bo Kane, if he's going to be the ultimate teammate. Or is he Camo? You know Camo, you know Bo better than us. Will he just not worry about team rules and go for this victory?
Nah, really wanted that P2. What about the win? Is he just going to hold it steady? It's not every day you get to win a Bathurst 500 or a Bathurst 1000.
There's no comment. Oh, and Highland saying, yeah. Okay, that's nice.
Do you have permission to win?
But in this scenario now, would you really do that, Highlander? That would actually upset Dado, not only yourself, trying to get this back-to-back victory here at Bathurst. Here, the beast mode for Bo Kane. And look at now, Night Havoc within 4 seconds now of the lead. Now, he was 10 seconds behind these cars 3 laps ago. So we might want to keep an eye on...
frills.
We might want to keep an eye on Dado if we can, because if there's going to be any move for this lead, we probably should be able to see most of the action behind him as well. And you can just see in the background there, occasionally. Oh, look at this. Here we go.
I'm drafting.
So Bo's
Bo's
not
going to hold station there. So he's not going to go for the win. He's just going to try and be the roadblock for Dado.
Could be. He's going to come out here. Just protect that. He can't keep weaving though, Bo. He's got to be careful, but that's okay. That's just within limits there. But look at, here we go. No frills. Right on the edge. Will he have a look down the inside here? Late moment? No. Late move? No. But Bo was saying that Dado did invite him to race one time, or ask him to race one time during the V8 Supercar season. Bo said yes, he will. But basically came down to, hey, I haven't raced yet, so we better make Bathurst happen. And they were able to get Zach 18 as well into the team. So Bo was always keen to race with Dado. But as tides turn, I think Dado and Highlander chose to race together, which is probably the right move to get the most points that they can. Oh, did you see that, Bo? That's a side glance. Hopefully that should not be, possibly a bit of front aero, but maybe 1 or 2, if that. But those side glances usually get away with it.
And this is how Dado just scamper away a little bit.
So Bo's done his job. No Frills is still going for, you know, the victory if he can at this stage. But you've got Night Havoc now right behind No Frills. A swap of a position can easily happen, and that'll give Night Havoc his championship.
Yes.
As Whopper's in the pits.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
there's a
Brocane gone. And that's Night Havoc going to be in 3rd position.
big moment here on lap 38. Oh, and his car's not looking healthy now, so this could move Detective up a position as well. There's still time for Detective, but this has now put the Osnecki racers in 2 and 3.
3 laps to go.
So can No Frills now concentrate because he knows that Dado's not healthy. His car's not got the pace that it did have earlier. So now can we see the Osnecki number 3 car take victory here at Bathurst at this stage? Dado, he's just got to try and hold on to this victory. Don't think a championship now. If he's seen on the leaderboard, he probably knows that it's not there for him anymore. So he'll be doing everything he can to hold on just for this victory, to come home with that. But he will take the Enduro Cup though, Sato. So he has clearly taken that Enduro Cup as long as he finishes on the podium here. And the Enduro Cup consisted of the Sebring 250 and also Spa 300. So they were the 3 endurance races we had throughout the season of 12 rounds. So what a grand final we've got here tonight here, Sato. It's not over yet.
Oh, he had to come out of the throttle there. No Frills. There's not much tyre left in that thing.
Mate, he's going to take every little bit of rubber out off these tyres that he can. He'll be basically on the steel wrap by the time he finishes here. What great camera work we've had here tonight. Thanks, Sato. It's been a tremendous amount of work you've done here to keep us entertained.
Thank you, Woody. But these boys are doing plenty of that themselves.
Well, yeah,
There's been plenty of action throughout the whole race.
Yeah, they're bringing the entertainment. And just to add a little bit more spice, we have got a back marker coming up.
Hubs.
Now, he did have a few little issues there in the wet, just holding up a few blue flags. He has been, just told a little bit just to be careful about the blue flags, especially in the same class of racing, that you need to give way. So hopefully he just pulls out of the way up Mountain Straight here, because he's got no bonnet. He's lost that. So he's obviously struggling there.
Is he missing a bonnet? Oh yeah, he is. And the front bumper's hanging off it.
Yeah, so hopefully just rolls out of it just to give these guys a go, because it is for the lead of the race. And he has.
Yep, good work.
A nice work by Stubbs. He's only new to the sim racing with us here at ANZCRL. But we've got 2 laps to go. Well, basically 1.5 now. Who's your bets on, guys? We've got a few viewers there. Don't be shy. Type it down. Is it going to be Dado or Frills?
It's amazing, the last 2 Bathurst races that we've had, it's gone down right to the dying stages.
Oh, yeah. And this is what we come back for each year.
And we didn't need a safety car for this version. It's just hard-nosed racing. Everyone on the absolute limit.
Oh, exactly. And it's been tremendous here watching this unfold. We don't have a big quantity of a grid, but quality we do have. Yeah, a lot of
A
them.
little bit far back for No Frills just to get that slingshot happening.
Yeah, comes on late, that draft for him. So he obviously he's just not getting that exit out of Forest Elbow. You picked up that earlier, Sato, that, you know, Dado was strong coming down there and getting that exit. But here he is. This is where No Frills is strong. So expect a move maybe up into Griffin's here, people. So we're on our last lap here.
Oh,
Oh, he's gone.
no!
Oh, he's looped it around. Those tyres have screamed out no more, and that's brought Night Havoc into second position as Highlander screams yeah on the chat. Well done. Dado will be relieved right now. Oh, amazing work.
Was able to withstand the pressure, and now he can, well, not relax, but certainly take a lot of risk out of this lap now and just get it to the finish.
Yeah, and look, we keep an eye on here, but once he crosses the line, depending on that totem pole, what happens between Bocane and No Frills, they could be well and truly at it again right over the line. So we'll give Dado the grace here because he's done a tremendous job fending off the challenges that were brought his way. Kept ever so cool. We might have to try and get Highlander into the Discord.
Yes.
Discord voice chat if we can. We'll probably try and bring Dado in to have a quick little chat to him at the end if he takes this. Just brushing the wall. Oh, ghosting the wall there. If Highlander can't get into the voice chat, that's fine. We'll see him.
He'll jump
he
in
said,
when it's done, so
well
we'll be able
done.
to get a chat with him.
So here he comes. Got one more corner to go. You can hear the claps in the background.
Highlander back-to-back Bathurst winners. Dado, his first Bathurst victory, I think. Certainly first on Automobilista 2.
Yeah, I think it might be his first 1,000 or 500 or even victory here for basically 1,000. But let's just have a look to see No Frills. If he can hold on, I think he has. Yes, he has, with Bocane following him through. But we're sure we'll see some burnouts from Dado. But what a tremendous final run that was for Dado. And Darky, he gave it a big run at the end, didn't he? Just ran out of brakes.
Yeah, just having braking issues. Maybe running the ducting a bit too closed, so the brake's overheating.
Yeah, it could exactly be. And Highlander's saying that he knows that Dado and himself won when they drove together. So they've obviously won back on Project Cars 2 once before. So that's nice to see. So Cirrus, he entertained us as well.
Yes.
So Dado has also taken out the Enduro Cup. So it's congratulations to obviously Dado to doing that. But taking out the overall championship and the final 6 championship will be Night Havoc, who finished in second. But Commander Cirrus there, not just coming over the finish line. And let's just have a quick look at those results there, if you want to go through them.
Yep, so Dado with the win, Night Havoc second place, No Frills in third, Bocane fourth. Detective was a scrappy 5th place from him. Darky, a good comeback after that early incident to get to 6th. A tough race for Cirrus in 7th, and an even tougher race for Whopper in 8th. And a shout out to Stubbsy, just being able to just drive around and just soak up as many laps as he could, and he's there in 9th.
Well, I'll tell you about Stubbsy. He was doing 2:10s at the start of the race, and he's ended up doing a 2:07.5 as his best lap. So it just shows you, keep going around and around. That's 2.5 seconds off what he was sort of starting off with there in the dry. So just getting comfortable. But look at the best lap by Night Havoc ended up getting the fastest lap with a 2:04.2 in the end, just as we finished the stream. oh, well, not the stream, I should say, the coverage there of Automobilista 2. Now, I'll just move ourselves onto the end screen here that you will see. There's a few things that's going to be coming up in the near future. We've obviously got the Monaco Grand Prix happening in 2 weeks' time, so more info will come up there. The website will be updated and everything's sorted there on our Discord. And then obviously we've got our IndyCar series coming up. But in the meantime, what we want to do is we'll try and find both Dado and Highlander if he is. But here's Dado. He's already here. Congratulations to the 2025 Bathurst 500 winners, Dado and Highlander.
Thanks,
awesome.
Woody. Yeah, we're chuffed. Thanks, Highlander.
Yeah,
And
awesome,
and Zach.
awesome drive from you, Dado. There, just being able to absorb that pressure late from no frills.
I know he was on me too. When I saw the spin in the mirror, mate. The relief went through my body like you wouldn't believe. It was.
I could imagine, mate, and I reckon that the sweat that you produced would probably half fill your swimming pool right now. That would have been some sort of challenge that you had throughout that race with the contenders that came at you.
Oh yeah, it was, mate, full concentration. Well, funny thing is, when you got a teammate, you tend to concentrate harder because you only got to fuck your own race up. You're going to stuff up your teammates. So I think that helped me.
Mate.
Yeah, no, you were a legend, mate. And we've only driven together at Bathurst twice, and we've won twice, mate. It's pretty good.
What a combo! What a combo! So that's you had Highlander cheering you on right through that race on the chat too. So and I'll tell you what, you can't take away from Highlander's drive last night as well in the wet. Those conditions were absolutely diabolical. Well, they weren't diabolical, I should say. They were just a real challenge. And
well, exactly, because you could have come off the track without blinking an eye last night.
Yeah, exactly. So
Whereas
Highlander,
tonight, you'd have to do something wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Highlander, your thoughts though about how that whole weekend's panned out for you, both you two?
Yeah, no, I feel like Dado, did what he did. He won us the race. I managed to keep us in a decent position. Things had went a little bit better. I think I definitely could have won the first session, but I had full faith in my teammate, especially in the dry. We knew he had a good car.
Wow, I'm curious to know at what point in those dying laps did you start getting a bit worried that Dado may not be able to hang on there?
I was getting pretty worried, but when Dado told me that he was actually fuel saving, I understood. So.
Did you not put enough fuel in on that last pit stop there, Dado?
Oh, look, I think I might. I put 95 litres in. I thought I would have made it, but I just had a bit of a panic attack, and I thought, well, I'm just going to do a bit of, because I was like 3 seconds in front, I'm just going to do a bit of fuel saving. And then when he catches me up, I'll go back to Rich. I did that for about 3 or 4 times. Just to make sure, you know.
Well, you sure made it entertaining there for the viewers, and then we were all at the edge of the seat. And you know, at the time, you had the championship wrapped up because we had Night Havoc, who's just joined us. We'll catch to Night Havoc in a second. He was running 4th. He had his teammate in the second of the Osnecki cars. We're not too sure if they were going to swap positions with no frills, but when he started challenging you, when he made that move on Bo Kane to get second position, we thought, well, he's going for the win now, and if he took the win, Night Havoc would have still won the championship in 4th position. So you had so much pressure running there, Dado, at that time, because it was a championship, and it was also Bathurst 500, mate.
Oh, there was a stack of things to race for. It was heavy. All I knew is I had to be in front, and I've got a chance.
Nice. Is there anything else you want to add?
I just want to say that it was an epic drive by Night Havoc too. Watched him come from so far back within a couple of seconds of the lead. So many battles in front of him. That was actually an epic drive, and he's been an epic driver all championship, so he actually really deserves it. So congratulations, mate.
Cheers, thank you, Highlander.
Yeah, well done, mate.
So
Thanks, Dado.
I was wondering when you were going to turn up. I thought he always turns up every other race.
So
If I'm in front.
From the Enduro Cup Championship, Dado Racer, congratulations taking out that Enduro Cup Championship. You did extremely well at both Sebring and Spa. coming
Cool.
second in both those races. Then you took out the victory here to claim that Enduro Cup. So you get a trophy as well as the Bathurst 500 victory. So congratulations, Dado.
Cheers, thanks, Woody.
Not a problem. And now to Night Havoc for taking out the overall championship, my friend, and also the Final Six championship. How do you feel about that?
Oh, wow, that was ridiculous. I didn't know it was the final six as well. But yeah, that was absolutely hectic. That last stint, the car just hooked up brilliantly. The first stint, I was really worried that I wasn't being able to do anything. And then, yeah, I was in the 204s consistently for a good 10 laps after the pit stop. And it's like, I just got to be there to see what happens. And luckily it fell into place for me, really.
And,
Well done, mate.
yeah, it was a bit of tyre saving going on. I know you've been the tyre whisperer of this championship, but it was a bit of tyre saving at the start of that stint, trying to buy yourself a bit of fresher tyres come that late race where you made your charge.
Yeah, that was the idea. It was just see if I can, if I knew I could hang in there and not be too far off the lead and try and push, I could try and get there. And I was hauling them in as fast as I could. I just ran out of tyres towards the end there. And those last 5 laps, I had almost nothing left just to keep with everyone.
Yeah, you did well.
Well
and
done, mate. It must have been really close with points. From me to him, it must have been bloody close.
2 points was the difference in the
joke.
championship. Actually, it would have
Holy
been
mackerel.
it would have been more.
No.
Sorry, now because
More
Night Havoc
now.
actually came second. So if he came third, we'll tell you there was only 2 points in it.
Gotcha.
But with him coming second, it was able to just have that bit better margin as well. But obviously, we have a Revenant
That's
Racing
amazing.
championship as well for the Constructors Championship. So well done to Dado and Highlander on taking that,
Anya,
because that's a
Highlander.
real teamwork of a championship to win as well. So well done to that, taking out that team's championship over ANZCRL Racing, who finished second and third here at Bathurst, with the Revenant Racing car taking out victory in another memorable race. So I'm sure that'll go down to as another classic race of the ages as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for all your work, guys, in the commentary box. Brilliant commentary.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. And we look forward to us all enjoying a nice drink, a little bit of a break, and we'll be back, obviously, racing on a Sunday night in probably about 3 weeks' time, when we go back into our IndyCar series that you can see there on the screen. And don't forget, in 2 weeks' time, we've got our Monaco 1983 Grand Prix. Have you got the ability to try and get through 76 laps of the streets of Monaco? If you do, make sure you join us on our website, and you'll find the links to our Discord. Thanks, Dado, for all your work tonight. I think we've had a great night of racing here tonight, and thanks for all your help.
It's just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks, Sato.
All right, so congratulations to Dado and Highlander taking out this year's Bathurst 500. Second place was Night Havoc, who also took out the overall championship. And then in third place was No Frills and Termo in the second of the ANZCRL cars. And don't forget, I finished second with my teammate, Night Havoc. Woohoo!
Congrats, Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, mate.
All right, till next time, see you guys.